Okay, our next lesson was standard form. We need to write things in proper standard form. According to the front page, how I told you properties of standard form, the x and y need to be on the left-hand side. If they're not, we make them on the left. There should never be any fractions. If there are fractions, we get rid of them. And just like how our days should start, you should start positive. So x should always be positive. If it's not, you make it positive. Because x is the leader. I'm just going to rewrite standard form. ax plus by equals c. If x is negative, it means we're starting out bad. We don't want to do that. X should be positive. You need to know the vocab word integer coefficients. All that, it's a fancy word. All it means is there's no fractions. So if I say rewrite this with integer coefficients, I mean get rid of any fractions. Okay? Integer coefficients means no fractions allowed. So we've dealt with fractions plenty in our previous algebra units. To get rid of them, you multiply everything, underline everything. You multiply everything by the denominator. And I need to rewrite that. Denominator, or the bottom number. To get rid of a fraction, you multiply everything by the denominator. So this first example, I have 1/4 x plus 3y equals 5. That is not in standard form. Standard form should not have fractions, and I have a fraction here. So I have to get rid of it. So how do I get rid of this fraction? Times everything by 4. Let's just times by the bottom number. Don't worry about reciprocals. So I'm going to times by 4, times by 4, times by 4. Because algebra says you can go ahead and manipulate things all you want as long as you do it to everything. So that cancels this 4 out. Now I'm left with 1x plus 3 times 4 is 12, y equals 5 times 4 is 20. That's your expectation of today. You make sure x and y are on the left and get rid of any fractions. So it's not like incredibly difficult, but it looks crazy. A lot of kids shut down when they see the fractions. They're like, this looks nuts, I don't get it. All you need to do when you have fractions is get rid of that bottom number, which is multiplying. Okay, so next one, 4x plus 2/3y equals 1. What do I need to do? Times the denominator by 3. So I see which one is the fraction, this 2/3. So I need to get rid of it. So to get rid of it, I'm going to times everything by 3. Three times 4 is 12x. Those cancel out. Don't turn it to 6. That's a common mistake. They just cancel out. Plus 2y equals 3. And I'm done. So again, I think that a lot of your instinct is going to be to make it look something like this, and you can't. You have 2 variables here. You can't solve this. Okay? That's all you want. All right. One more example. And I think it's on this side. Down here in the red. Write the following in standard form with integer coefficients. That's that big fancy vocab word. That just means no fraction. Remember, standard form should look like ax plus by equals c. X on the left, okay, no fractions, and you should be positive. Those are the properties. X on the left, no fractions, make sure you're positive. Now I don't want to play around with this X right now. I don't like it that much. It makes me feel very overwhelmed and stressed out because it's a fraction. So anytime I feel stuck, I always ask myself, is there something I can do to make it look a little easier? So I know that I can get rid of that 5 to make things look a little bit better. So that turns this to negative 20y equals x minus 15. X needs to be on the left by y. So I need to move this in front of y. That's what I need to do. So the opposite of a positive x is minusing x. So I need to subtract x. So now I have negative x minus 20y equals negative 15. Now I need to start positive. You don't want to start your day out negative. You don't want to start your equation out negative. Same thing. Let's be positive first. So in order to do that, I just change the sign of everything. What I'm truly doing is multiplying by negative 1. I don't personally do that. I just think, take the opposite of everything. Opposite of negative x is x. Opposite of minus is plus 20y equals a positive 15. But feel free to distribute a negative if you work better. I know that there's some of us that might work better that way. And that's where all of this is coming from. Okay? That's it. That's a learning target.